My name is Leo Taylor. Sometimes I go by Dr. Leo, Dr. Taylor. My pronouns are he, him, his. I had to start my own decolonization process, which led me to start asking myself, why do we have this narrative that trans people have to disassociate from their past? Where did that come from? And I started to realize that, well, a good part of that comes from the medical industry, that trans people who wanted to transition were expected to, no matter what their previous identity was, conform to cis heteronormative standards post-transition. So that means, as a trans man, if I had been attracted to men when I was living as a woman, back then I would have been expected to transition to be a man and start being interested in women. Would have to conform to that expectation, otherwise I would be denied medical care. So instead of asking, how do I get to where I want to be, I started asking, why do I want to get there to begin with? And who says we can't celebrate all versions of ourselves? And that started to make me realize that I had been denying this person. It feels like another person to me now, being more than 25 years into my transition. Lynette, who became buried basically in shame that was never mine to begin with, that comes from a culture that says there's something wrong with being trans. And that in reality, when I started to think about Lynette a little differently, I realized she was a badass. She is the reason why it gets me emotional. Her bravery, her resourcefulness, her courage, her willingness to lose people, to be disowned by family members, to be criticized by lesbians in the community that she left, her willingness to leave Indiana and move to Boston not knowing a single person, and current me is terrified of doing something like that right now. Like, she was so fucking courageous that she does not deserve to be buried and be dead named. In fact, she deserves to be honored and celebrated. So I don't think of Lynette as someone who still exists. Like, I hold all of her memories. Like, the butterfly has all of the same cells that the caterpillar did. But the caterpillar doesn't exist anymore. Lynette doesn't exist, but I exist because of her. I view her as a transcestor, just like I do any other person who defied gender norms. Shame, I discovered, is a colonial, patriarchal, cis heteronormative construct that teaches us to believe that we are wrong, broken, inadequate, or even excessive. And for trans people, shame demands that we reject a part of ourselves, that we erase our past, that we conform to cis-normative standards, aspire to assimilate, and apologize for existing outside the binary. And radical authenticity rejects all of that.